Hello, dear viewer, and welcome to the most informative, educational, and, yes, spiritually uplifting video that you are ever likely to watch. Today we'll be discussing some of the finest silly strides on the market, and... Sorry, it's what? Barefoot for beginners today. That's... oh. So, stride types, not silly strides. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. My bad. Hello, and welcome to part 3 of Barefoot for Beginners. Today we're going to be talking about 3 different stride types, although keep in mind that there are probably many more out there. We're going to take a look at the well-known heel strike, a modified fox walk, and a forefoot strike. And then we're going to talk about which one of them you should use, or which ones you should use, and which ones you should avoid. So without further ado, let's get started. Ah yes, the famous, or should I say infamous, heel strike. Well known for its simplicity and much disliked for the high impact it has on your joints. This one is pretty self-explanatory. If you take a look, and I'm going to play this video in slow motion again a second time, especially at the first step, you can really see the large amount of impact that you get immediately upon putting your foot down with a heel strike. So yes, this one we tend to try to stay away from when going barefoot. If you have a pretty cushioned heel, it's not too bad, but without one, it can hurt. Second, the fox walk, or what I like to call a modified fox walk, because it doesn't have all the elements of a fox walk in it, but it does have the main element, or what I consider to be the main element, which is that you land on the outside of the ball of your foot and roll your foot inwards. If you want to see what a real fox walk looks like, you can look at hunting or survival guides, because that's where the stride originally came from. It's for walking silently in the woods, but it's also useful as an extremely low impact stride for people who are walking barefoot. And lastly, but not leastly, the forefoot strike. This one is pretty hard to differentiate from the fox walk, especially since I'm not very good at doing the fox walk and don't always land on the outside of the ball of my foot. But basically the only difference between the forefoot strike and the fox walk is that in the forefoot strike you land on the entire ball of your foot instead of landing on the outside and rolling in. This makes it a little bit easier to pull off than fox walking, but it does have a slightly higher impact than fox walking, so just keep that in mind. Oh look, a dank meme. Doug does have a point though. There are a lot of strides out there, and at least except for the heel strike, which is obviously not highly favored by the barefoot community, there's a lot of choices, and trying to decide which stride you should use is pretty difficult. So what's my advice there? My advice is to not worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just choose whatever stride feels comfortable to you, even if that is heel striking initially. I know that might be like heresy to say that you can heel strike while you're walking barefoot, but honestly, when I first went barefoot, I tried to, exaggerate my stride and do all these special sorts of strides, and it was just kind of tough. And I also did feel a little bit like I was in the ministry of silly walks, walking around with a weird stride all the time. So just do whatever stride you're comfortable with and listen to your body and trust that in time you'll get the right stride down. I think that it's good to be aware of different stride types, but don't push yourself too hard to get the perfect stride or have the perfect form right away. Like all things barefoot, it's just going to take time. I hope that this video has been helpful, and that if you've watched the other 2 videos in my Barefoot for Beginners series, that they've been helpful as well. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and hit that like button, and maybe subscribe. Thanks for watching.